Welcome to the 22nd Jackie's Proof Animals Have Souls and Psychics show, produced through Passionate World Talk Radio, a subsidiary of Global Media Network. My website is www.jackiejoneshunt.com, and Jackie is like the boy's name Jack with the IE, joneshunt.com. If you've listened to my show before, you'll know I'm a psychical researcher, historian of spirituality, lecturer, and decades-long vegetarian for compassionate reasons, and author of 3 books: Proof Animals Have Souls, 500 plus celebrities go vegetarian, and Moses and Jesus the Shamans, mediums. The latter, Moses and Jesus the Shamans, among many other things, reveals the politically orientated biblical mistranslations condemning mediumship when it was actually an ancient tradition, as it is today, to consult seers, prophets, judges and oracles to learn spiritual wisdom and predictive guidance. And those mistranslations, which were politically orientated by the church mistranslators, led to the 16th and 17th century witch hunts. Thousands of innocents were killed. Today, I have the great opportunity to welcome Myra Bowman to this 22nd show. Myra is 73. She's a medium and psychic artist, and she'll explain what a psychic artist is. Drawing and painting spirit people and spirit animals. And after a sitting, the recipient can bring in a photograph to show Myra how accurate Myra's drawings and paintings are. Myra is the editor of a magazine called The Medium for the Institute of Spiritualist Mediums, and Myra has written a book called Spiritualism and Mediumship, the Manual, and is currently working on a second book. She has 2 daughters, and tragically she has a stillborn son in spirit. But Myra said she used to see the little son playing with the daughter's toys. So with all of that, I'd like to introduce Myra to the show. Hello, Myra.
Hi, Jackie.
When did you first see spirit people and spirit animals, Myra?
I was in boarding school by the age of 5, and I used to see a spirit man and horse riding down the dormitory.
That's amazing.
At 5 years old.
That's amazing. So what age were you then?
5.
At 5. And what did you make of that?
Oh, I remember being very scared.
Do you think it was someone who had lived in that area in the past?
Could well have been. I don't know. I don't know the history of the school there, but it could have been, because it was in Kenya, and there was lots of initial fights between the Africans and the white people.
I see. So that was in Kenya.
Yes.
So you're a psychic artist. So does that mean you're clairvoyant and clairaudient, claircognizant, clairsentient? As people might know, clairaudient is hearing, clairsentient is sensing, clairvoyant is seeing, and claircognizant is knowing. So as a psychic artist, which ones of those would you say you are?
All of them.
Okay.
Absolutely all.
Okay. Do you see and paint spirit animals as well?
If somebody wants a portrait done, then I'll do it for them. So, yeah, I guess.
So how does it work? If a person comes to you and you sense that they've lost a pet or an animal, do you see the finished product, or do you see the pet in front of you, or does spirit overshadow you to work?
I did a animal communication with a pet and a lady just recently. The dog had died and she wanted to get in contact, and so it was recommended that she came to me, and as I got information from the dog, he was sitting right in front of me and I could describe him to her so that she knew it was definitely that dog and no other.
Well, you've sent me some pictures before we started the interview, and I was realising how accurate the pictures are. A photograph that the recipients brought in after you've painted them or drawn them, to show you and confirm to you how closely your pictures matched the living person. So the spirit person picture showed the accuracy of your work. What's influenced your work and what's motivated your work? I suppose that's two questions.
I think the motivation is because I feel it is so important for people to understand about the spirit world, and because they're all going to go there one day. So they need to be learning about it and not being scared of it.
Yes.
And that's the main reason I'm behind it, everything I do.
Uh-huh. And do you go to the spiritualist churches, and do you do one-to-one sittings?
I am treasurer of a spiritualist church, so I'm there quite a lot. I used to go around a lot of churches, but I am semi-retired now, so I do more at home. So yeah, I enjoy going to see other churches, definitely. And if I'm on holiday, I'll always pop in to the local spiritualist church.
I know what you mean. Okay. And you've been motivated generally because you want to put the message out that physical death is not the end, and to help the bereaved.
That's right.
Yes. So what took you down the psychic artist route? Being a medium with all the gifts that you have, what took you down the artistic route?
I am a qualified artist. I've always enjoyed drawing. And one day I just decided, instead of describing the person, the spirit person, to the recipient, it would be just as easy to draw them, which I did. And so they've got a picture to take home with them.
Yes.
Which is the nearest thing you're going to get to a photograph.
Yes.
And because I am a qualified artist, I know about all the proportions and muscles and anatomy and all that. So, yeah, spirit leave me to do it. They never overshadow, as far as I'm aware. There have been times I see the spirit person I need to draw on the floor in black and white. That's how I ask them to show me. So it's quick and easy to do. I can do an A3 size portrait with pastels in 10 minutes.
Well, that's very quick. And you do spirit animals as well?
Yes, but not so many of those. People just tend to be happy just to have the knowledge that their animal is still there.
That's excellent.
I do animal portraits.
Is that of living ones or living in the spirit world ones?
They're generally done from photos of when they were alive, but
so you do that as well?
Living in spirit.
Uh-huh. And you were saying to me before the show that people don't realise the suffering. We were both discussing this, that animals go through, and I mentioned that they have rapid eye movement, sleep, they dream just like us. Think of the nightmares that they must have in the slaughterhouses when they're watching each other being murdered. And you mentioned that people don't sort of connect that type of suffering with buying an animal packaged up in the supermarket. You don't really put the two together, that this is a living animal, or it was a living animal not very long ago. So we're all animals. Humans are animals, we're primates and we're mammals. And we often forget that. And animals all have nerve endings, and birds and animals have rapid eye movement, sleep just the same as us. So I hate to think of the nightmares they have. Do you have a spiritual... Sorry.
When I was 10, we went out, because in Kenya, went out into the safari park, and there's an abattoir out there. The line of cattle that were walking towards it, it was dreadful. The atmosphere, you could feel their terror, you could feel their depression. And from that day on, I didn't want to eat animals anymore.
Well, I can totally understand that. Do you have a spiritual message for listeners?
The most I would say to everybody is you're going to go to the spirit world one day. Find out about it now so that it's all not a shock. If you're going to emigrate to Australia, you find out about the country. Same as with the spirit world. There's lots of books on it to read, and I would recommend some of the older classic ones. And also there's YouTube videos on people who have near-death experience, what they've seen and brought back. There's films like Astral City, and it's really out there. So make the most of your opportunity. Lead a good life and find out what you can of where you're going to be going next.
Yes. Well, many years ago, when I was living in Jordan in the Middle East, my landlord came to my door and he said, "Here is a gift for you." And I held the bag and it was warm. And when I opened it, it was a recently murdered chicken. And when he left, I put it in cold water and I thought, pull yourself together. I put it in cold water and I thought, now make it cold like the supermarket. And then I thought, I got the knife out to cut the head off and I couldn't do it. Then I went to take the feathers off. I couldn't do it. So I waited till the evening and I put it back in the bag and threw it onto some wasteland in the dusk, because I realised there's no way I could eat that chicken. And that was one of the turning points for me. And when I threw it out of the window, I didn't know there was people drinking coffee downstairs, little tiny glasses of coffee. And as the bag left my window, the chicken in the bag came out of the bag in midair. So people below would have seen a dead chicken flying. And all I heard was, "Ya Allah," as they got a shock of the bird going. But, you know, it was an eye-opener to me, and it's just come to mind what you were saying, that people don't recognise the pain, trauma, suffering, torture, as one animal sees another one murdered. And if you go on, is it the People for Ethical Treatment of Animals website, you start to learn about the intelligence of a pig. It's over 5 years old, more so than a dog. They had one experiment where they had a saucer on the floor with a hole in it, and the pig was told, move that little golf ball across the carpet and put it into the hole in the saucer, indoor golf. Well, the pig did that, and then a moment later it thought it's much easier to just put the saucer on top of the ball, and it brought it back and did it instantly. So there was lots of tests like that done on pigs and cows and so on. And also the question isn't how intelligent they are, it's can they feel pain. And as they've all got the same nerve endings as us, then yes, they can feel emotional and physical pain.
Yes.
So
as can fish, when people go fishing.
Yes.
It's horrific.
Yes. Do you see auras, Myra?
Yes, I do. And I've done loads and loads of workshops trying to teach other people how to see them as well.
Oh, that sounds very interesting. I'd like to learn about the workshops, and maybe we can do an interview again in the future. Do you interpret the colours that you see?
Yes, I do. I've got a big, long chart in my book with what all the colours mean, and the positive and the negatives. But it's all a matter of seeing also which colour's next to another to know
the combinations.
More about the character.
Yes. And they can show the spiritual, emotional, mental and physical aura and people's potentials. And, you know, I always think it's a lifetime of thoughts that creates the aura, and then like attracts like in the landscapes of the non-physical realms, which is a perfect form of justice, really. So all the bad guys go together and the good guys hopefully stay together too. And heaven wouldn't be a heaven if we didn't have our fellow animals, and so many animals are much more spiritual than many people.
Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing all of my animals and all the other ones that I've been very fond of when I get there.
Me too. Me too. Well, do you know, the show has just flown in today, Myra, and time has come. So I'll have to say goodbye, and I'll welcome you to the show another time. And thank you very much for coming on the show.
You're most welcome. Thank you for asking me.
Thank you.